While I was away for a weekend getaway, my father playfully sold my laptop to instill a lesson about accountability. My mother remarked, "You left it behind, dear. Clearly, it wasn't that important." I didn't shout. I didn't shed tears. Then my sister rolled into the driveway on a shiny new $2,300 electric bicycle, grinning as she said, "Thanks, Dad, you're the best." I packed my things, left a note on the refrigerator. From now on, the house payments aren't my burden. My name's Noah. I'm 26, the eldest child, the go-to fixer, the one who shows up with a toolbox and a solution. In our family, I'm the unseen pillar holding everything together. My younger sister, Lena, is the spotlight. She's all spark and attention. I'm the one steadying the foundation. It wasn't always a big deal, just small, persistent slights. If we both earned top grades, she got a new sweater, while I heard, "Good job, but don't get arrogant." If something broke, I was the one to mend it. If funds were low, I took extra hours. When I turned 18, Dad gave me a firm handshake and said, "I'm proud of you, son." Then he tossed Lena the keys to a used car for her safety. She cried tears of joy. I rode the bus, telling myself it toughened me up. Now I work in steady, unflashy work. Last year I co-signed their mortgage because Dad said, "Family supports family," and Mom added, "It'll help your credit, honey." I trusted them. I wanted to trust them. It's simpler than admitting you're the power source everyone taps into. Lena's the favored one. She drifts effortlessly. New passions every month, new equipment to match. My parents call it nurturing her dreams. When I ask what that means, Dad chuckles. "You wouldn't understand, Noah. You're practical." Practical means invisible. I just returned from a budget weekend with friends, 2 nights in a rented cabin that smelled of disinfectant and damp wood. No Wi-Fi, no laptop. That was the plan, disconnect. On the drive back, my phone pinged with group chat notifications, nothing from family, typical. I stopped by my parents' place Sunday evening to grab my laptop and charger before work. The TV blared. The house smelled of roasted chicken and artificial citrus. Dad was in the garage, hunched over his workbench like he was deciphering a car's secrets. Mom stood at the sink, rings off, hands in soapy water, humming a tune from the radio as if all was right with the world. "Hey," I said, stepping into the kitchen. "I need my laptop. It was on my desk." Mom didn't look up. "Hi, dear." "In your room?" she asked, as if she didn't already know. "Yeah." I walked down the hall. The desk was bare, unnaturally tidy. No cables, no notes, no mark where the charger rested, just polished wood. My stomach lurched. I returned. "Where's my laptop?" Dad strolled in, wiping his hands on a rag for no reason. "Funny you mention it," he said with a grin that promised a light-hearted jab. "I sold it." I thought it was a prank. I laughed. "What?" He leaned against the counter. "To teach you about responsibility. You leave stuff here, you don't really need it, right?" My laugh faded. "You sold my laptop." Mom turned, lips tight, like she was bracing for a child's outburst. "You left it here, dear. That means it wasn't essential," she said, tilting her head. "You have your work computer." "That's not how this works," I said, deliberately calm. "That's my property." Dad raised his hands. "Chill, it's not a big deal. Use the family PC if you need to print something." The ancient PC from 2011. I said, "My personal files were on that laptop, work stuff." "Then you should have been more careful," Mom said. "Choices have consequences." Tires crunched on gravel outside. A horn beeped twice. Lena's cheerful bike bell chimed ding-ding. She glided into the driveway on a sleek new e-bike, white frame gleaming, thick tires, battery pack shining like a gem. She pulled off her helmet with a flourish and shouted through the open door, "Thanks again, Dad." Dad beamed, chest puffed like he'd won a prize. "Looking sharp, kiddo." "How much was that?" I asked, the words slipping out. Lena grinned. $2,300. It's an investment, you know, for my commute. Eco-friendly. Her eyes flicked to me. "You should try being impulsive sometime." Mom laughed like it was adorable. Dad patted her shoulder. "Anything for my girl?" I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I pressed my hands flat on the counter, feeling the sticky ring of an uncleaned glass. My name was tied to their mortgage. My laptop was gone. Lena spun the bike's front wheel, watching it blur. Dad tossed me the rag. "Don't make a scene, Noah. Be helpful and set the table." I grew up in a home where money was a tally, and I was expected to keep it even. When Lena won at soccer camp, new cleats appeared. Dad worked late. Mom juggled bills. When I asked about a robotics club in high school, they said, "Too costly, Noah. Be thankful for what you have." My computer was a used one, half the keys worn out. It didn't end there. Every milestone tipped in her favor. At 16, I bagged groceries on weekends to save for a car. When I came home with $2,000, proud, Dad asked to borrow half for a temporary fix. He'd repay me in a month. I never saw it again. 2 months later, Lena turned 16 and a used Honda Civic sat in the driveway with balloons on the mirror. Dad clapped her shoulder. Safe and reliable, nothing's too good for my girl. I took the bus. That set the pattern. My role wasn't son, it was resource. When Mom wanted the kitchen redone, she called me to buy the paint. You're the handy one, dear. Lena's got classes. When Dad's credit card bill loomed, he asked me to cover it while Lena shopped for prom dresses. When the roof leaked, I was up a ladder at midnight in the rain. It escalated after college. I got a stable IT job, nothing fancy, but enough to pay rent and save. That's when Dad pulled me aside, all smiles. The mortgage is killing us, son. Rates are brutal. Co-sign with us. It'll boost your credit. Win-win. I hesitated. Mom added, it's just paperwork, honey. You're helping us keep the house. One day it'll be yours and Lena's. I signed. Every month my name was on the line. I asked Dad if things were okay, and he'd brush me off. Relax. It's under control. Meanwhile, Lena floated. She changed majors twice, then quit college. Mom's excuse? She's finding her path. Dad's line? She's got potential, Noah. Don't pressure her. Potential meant a $1,200 camera for her photography phase, a $600 keyboard for her music phase, a $900 sewing machine for her fashion phase. I covered parts of those credit bills when Dad came up short. Every time I pushed back, the script was ready. Dad, don't be selfish. Mom, you don't understand. She's the youngest. Lena, you're just jealous. I realized it wasn't just money. It was roles. I was the supply. She was the demand. The small slights hurt more than the big asks, like when I brought groceries to stock their fridge and Dad said at dinner, good man Noah, always pitching in. Then he gave Lena the last slice of pie, saying I'd had enough. Or when I saved for a new phone and Mom called it flaunting, then bought Lena a new iPad 2 weeks later. The message was clear. If I had something, I was greedy. If Lena had something, she earned it. The breaking points crept closer when Dad hinted I should cover more of the mortgage. You're single, Noah. You don't have our burdens. Mom added, Lena might move out soon. Maybe you can help with her rent. That's what family does. Translation, more money for me, more freedom for her. Every talk circled back to their view of my paycheck, not me. Lena was potential, sparkle. I was a wallet on legs, then came the laptop. The one thing I bought for myself. My Hawkins for my work, my projects, my life. Gone, turned into Lena's shiny new bike. That's when I knew the game had changed. They weren't borrowing bits of me anymore. They were taking my things and handing them to her, calling it a lesson. The final crack wasn't a holiday or a big event, just another Sunday dinner. Mom texted earlier, be here at 6, dear. Bring dessert, meaning show up and don't expect gratitude. I arrived with a $15 bakery pie. The kitchen smelled of overdone roast and bleach. Dad was in his recliner, glued to the game. Lena lounged on the couch, scrolling her phone, her new bike helmet displayed like a trophy on the coffee table. Hey, I said, setting the pie down. About time, Dad muttered, eyes on the TV. Mom peeked out. Oh, dessert. You remembered? We sat to eat. Same routine. Dad served himself, then Lena, then Mom. I got a wing and some soggy potatoes. I didn't mind. I'd learned not to expect much. Mid-dinner, Dad cleared his throat like he had big news. Lena's looking at an apartment downtown. Mom clapped like it was a revelation. Isn't that thrilling? Lena shrugged, smirking. Yeah, there's a place I like, rent steep, but I'll manage. Dad looked at me. Your sister's young. She shouldn't be buried in bills. You can help with her rent until she's settled. My fork froze. Excuse me? Mom's voice was gentle but pointed. Honey, you're stable, you live alone, you don't have big expenses. It's only fair. Fair, I said slowly. You sold my laptop last week. Dad waved it off. Still on that, it was just a computer. She's starting her life. I set my fork down. It wasn't just a computer. And I'm not paying her rent. The room went silent. Lena looked up. Wow, don't be a jerk. It's nothing to you. It's not nothing, I said, chest tightening but voice steady. I'm not your bank. I'm not covering rent, tuition, hobbies, bikes, nothing. Dad's chair creaked as he leaned forward, tone sharp. Watch it. You don't talk to your mother or sister like that. I'm not, I said. I'm telling you I'm finished. Mom shook her head, disappointed. You've always been so distant, Noah. Family supports family. What do we tell people if you won't help your sister? Tell them the truth, I said. That you tied my name to your mortgage, that you sold my property, that every time Lena wants something, you take it from me. Lena slammed her phone down. You're so dramatic. Dad helps you too. Who paid for your braces? I gave a bitter laugh. You mean the braces I paid off with grocery shifts at 16 because Dad missed payments? Her face reddened. You're just jealous. Something snapped inside me, quiet, not loud. I looked at Dad, Mom, Lena. My voice was calm, like giving directions to a stranger. This isn't about revenge, it's about boundaries. I'm done paying for the house, for Lena, for anything. Dad's fist hit the table. Dishes clinked. I stood steady. I'm done. Mom's voice rose, sharp. If you leave, Noah, don't come back. Don't expect family when you're old and alone. I met her gaze. I'd rather be alone than drained. I grabbed my keys, walked out. Dad shouted something I didn't hear. Lena muttered, lame. Mom's performative sobs started, but I didn't waver. For the first time, I didn't stay, didn't swallow it. I stepped into the night, their voices fading behind the door. The quiet felt right. The aftermath hit fast. By the time I reached my apartment, I had 3 missed calls from Mom, 2 from Dad, and a text from Lena. Wow, you ruined dinner, nice job. I ignored them. By noon the next day, I had 15 calls. Mom's voicemail was a tearful mess. Noah, honey, what's wrong with you? We're family, you don't abandon us, please. Dad's was angry. You think you can walk away after all we've done? You're ungrateful. Don't forget who raised you. Lena's was sharp. Whatever, you've always been bitter. I'll handle rent without your drama. Enjoy your lonely life. I didn't respond. By day 3, the tone shifted. Mom texted, mortgage is due Friday. Your dad's stressed. Don't let us down. Then if you don't pay your share, we could lose the house. Want that on your conscience? I stared at the words, seeing how absurd it was. My share was their fallback for every gap. I wasn't helping, I was carrying. I didn't reply. When the payment date passed, Dad called 10 times in an hour. His voicemail, fine, play tough guy, the bank will come for you too, you're on the loan. I blocked him. Silence held for 2 days. Then Lena posted on Instagram a photo with her bike captioned, learning to thrive without people who drag you down. Hearts and you go, girl comments flooded in. It should have stung. It didn't. It confirmed I was right. My phone kept buzzing with unknown numbers, collectors, relatives, who knows. I ignored them. At work, I stayed focused. Coworkers asked if I was okay. I said I was just tired. But at night in my quiet apartment, it sank in. No mom texting demands, no dad with quick favors. No Lena gloating about her latest gift, just silence. And it felt good. 2 weeks later, I returned to their house, not to talk, but to remove my name from the mortgage. The sticky note I'd left was ignored, as expected. I brought paperwork from the bank, outlining how to untangle myself legally. It wasn't easy, but it was doable. Dad opened the door, eyes icy. What now? To get out, I said, holding up the forms. He scoffed. Coward. Mom appeared, face splotchy from tears. Please, Noah, don't do this to us. Think of your sister. I shook my head. That's why I'm done. Dad muttered, useless, weak, something like that, but signed when reality hit. Mom resisted, then gave in after 10 minutes of silence. Lena wasn't there. When it was done, I set the pen down. You'll manage without me. That night my phone stayed quiet, no calls, no texts. The silence stretched into days, then weeks. For once I wasn't waiting for their approval or bracing for demands. I woke early, ate breakfast slowly, took walks, read books I'd shelved. It wasn't dramatic or flashy, but it was mine. That was freedom. Months have passed since I left that house and untied my name from their mortgage. Months without the constant hum of guilt texts or calls. The silence stayed. At first, it felt odd. I checked my phone, expecting Mom's long pleas or Lena's smug updates. Nothing, just work emails, friend texts, and bills. I chose myself. I thought I'd miss them. I don't. I feel lighter, like a weight I didn't know I carried was gone. I come home to my apartment, and no one's waiting with a new favor. No one's hinting my paycheck is theirs. No one's calling me selfish for keeping what's mine. I've built new habits. Sunday nights, I cook for myself, not drag a pie to a house where I'm unseen. I walk after work. I started saving for me. Money grows fast when you're not filling someone else's gaps. My bank account proves I chose right. I don't feel guilty for enjoying it. I scroll past Lena's posts, her bike, her outfits, captions about independence. It's almost funny, but mostly sad. She plays the golden child, but there's no one left to hold her up. I don't comment, I don't care. If she calls me bitter, fine. If Mom calls me selfish, fine. If Dad calls me ungrateful, fine. Their words lost power when I stopped giving. The truth is, I'm not their wallet anymore, not the unseen support. Not the safety net they stretch until it tears. I'm just Noah. And for the first time, that's enough. I don't know if their mortgage is hanging by a thread or if Dad juggled numbers again. I don't know if Lena's paying rent or if Mom's covering it quietly. Maybe they'll manage, maybe not. That's the point. I'm not the solution anymore. I left that note on the fridge. Figure out the mortgage without my name. It wasn't a threat or revenge. It was a vow to myself. This isn't about punishing them, it's about closing the chapter. I'll never forget how they treated me, but I won't carry it either. I refuse to let every paycheck or success be swallowed by their demands. I decide where my time, money, and energy go. They don't get a say. I may not have a perfect family. No birthday calls, no holiday dinners, no spots in their photos. But I have peace, and that's worth more than any bike, laptop, or guilt they try to pin on me. What surprised me most was how fast life filled in once I set that line. Without the constant drain, I had time for myself. I started running again, something I dropped when every hour went to them. I joined a book club, met people who know me as Noah, not the dutiful son. At work, I wasn't drained from late-night family calls. I had energy, took on projects. My boss said, "You seem different, lighter." He was right. I said yes to things I'd brushed off, a coworker's trip invite, a neighbor's basketball game. Small things, but they're mine. I wasn't always waiting for the next demand. My apartment feels like home now, not a crash pad between crises. I added shelves, a desk, hung art I like. Every corner is my choice, not a guilt-driven obligation. And I don't feel bad about enjoying it. That's closure, not slamming a door, but letting yourself live without carrying their weight. I'll say it once and I'll mean it forever. I'll never let them use me like that again. If that means standing alone, so be it. Alone is better than used.